It's like clockwork. I go to focus on the screen and my eye starts to hurt. Clockwork. Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday. Oh, wow. This has been a week. This has been a week. From Sunday to Sunday, this has been a week, but I'm still here. I'm still breathing. I'm still making it. I'm still striving. I'm still focused. I'm still, these are the things I'm doing. So, how are you guys today? I hope everybody is having a good day. I hope everybody's in, good spirits, all things considered. So, I really just came on. Just wanted to talk. Hey, Susan. Just wanted to talk. So, I said, let me come on, see how my people are doing, and see how everything is going. It's a lot of lives today. Lives. It sounds like I said lies. Sometimes I listen to myself talk and you can hear your own speech impediments. And I probably beat myself up about them more. Um, but I see that a lot of people went live today and it's been a lot. So it's just been getting later in the day and later in the day. And I said, well, you know what? Let me come on here and say what's up. See how everybody is doing. How's your day going? Susan, how are you doing today? How has your week been? Well, since the last time I talked to you, which was Friday. How have you been doing? Oh, but yeah, like I said, I really just came on like, hey, it's the end of the week. Well, it's the end of the week. Getting ready to be the beginning of a new week. And I always say a new week is a fresh start. But the real thing about life is sometimes the new week doesn't feel like a fresh start. it but it is. No, this is my last week in Georgia. Oh, you saw the kids. That's always a great day. Always. I was on the phone with my son about an hour ago in Texas, and I was telling him when he was talking about maybe having to move back to Chicago for a few months, but he just couldn't see himself being away from his son, during that time. And I told him it's the hardest thing in the world. I mean, and my kids are adults, and it's hard. It's hard because when things happen, you're not there, you're not so close. Um, it's a hard thing, and some days it's the thing you're fighting, even when nothing's going on. So when things go on, it's really something I'm fighting with. But I say, enjoy the minutes with your kids, enjoy the minutes with your parents if they're living, enjoy the minutes with your siblings, enjoy the minute with your grandchildren. You have to enjoy this. It's like it's not promised, Tomorrow is not promised to any of us at all. Sorry. As usual, the eye, Susan. It does what it wants to do. Mm-hmm. Yours are adults too. But yeah, it's just great. It's a different thing. Spending time with them. You just enjoy it so much. And then it's like once you've been through the teenage stage, the adolescent stage, the teenage stage, and then they're young adults. Mine are young adults. They're 22 through 25. It's a difference. And even they appreciate it different and they see you different. I had to really grow up, not even like sometimes on here when we're speaking about these are adults. They're adults by age. But being an adult and a grown up is more in choices and thought patterns and thinking things through and looking at the long run and seeing yourself and those type of things. I think of that as being a grown up. And I knew I was a grown up when I didn't see what wasn't, but I appreciated what was, when it came to my parents, um, even in my father. I had to become a grown up to understand that Maybe his greatest gift was us. Maybe his greatest gift was me. And that without him, there's no me. And I had to grow up to see that. Because for years you hold so many things. And then, it's just, it's different. I don't know. It's a lot. It's a lot. And it's easy to blame parents. You know, it's easy to do that. And, that's a whole different conversation. It's easy, especially when you don't really know you. But one thing I understand as a grandmother now is that when you have children, even when I see my sons, because both of my sons have children, I know there's a lot of growing they still need to do to become the men that they are meant to be. But they have children now. And so in that process, they still have to grow, And so I do understand, like, one day they'll see it and they'll understand, like, your kids may see it one way, but that's only because that was their point of view. That's how they saw it. They don't know what was before. They don't know all of those things, So when you could, that's why I say parenting does not come with a handbook. There's no handbook on, oh, do it this way. And if you do it this way, it's going to only be this way. And it's going to be so perfect. And I wish, because in that handbook, it would also how to tell you, it would tell you how to make the things you needed to work on in you right before you became a parent. So, but I really enjoy time and not seeing my children right now and being in a different state. It really makes you appreciate all the time with them, like any time with them. So sometimes you just, such is life. My brain is going so many places right now, into so many conversations and so many things. But I think the thing that's heaviest on my heart right now is just knowing that we have to love. Like we have to love. Like everything leads me back there. Everything leads me back there. And even in this week, last Sunday, I was on here. Yeah, they do. They do. And you know what else, Susan? They'll always be your babies. Like they always will. Last week was a hard week. Last week I was on here, going off. And I'm not here saying I was wrong for that. But I was on here going off last week. And last week, on Valentine's Day, the following day, life rocked me with more important stuff. And one of my, I call all of my close young men to me, I call them few for nephew. They are my nephews. I just keep them in that lane because I know I love my nephews. I protect my nephews. I care for my nephews. I'm praying daily for my nephews. I'm all the way in, like my children. And so I always, when I'm with a young man, I'm always rooting for them. I'm rooting that even in their mistakes or even in their backslides or whatever it is they're doing, that they make it out, that they make it through, that they have a chance. And so we lost one of them on Monday to this gang violence that plagues my city. And, so that was a blow. And then the next couple of days was regrouping my children in this pain. And so it was draining, it was really draining. But I was thankful that at the end of it, my mind is in this different place. So it's a better space. It's a better place for them as well as for me. And so my mind can actually have an adult conversation with them about those type of things. And so, that was the thing. And then I had a sty in my bad eye. And now it's, I don't know, you might be able to see it. It's in my other eye. So my eyes have been really bad this week. And, that'll mess with your mental, because we need our senses. We need them. We need to be able to to see and hear, And so when those things were jarred, it was like, oh, this week. But then I had to stop and breathe and in the moment figure out what is it saying to me? What is the universe saying to me? And even when I watch the things that go on here, or when I can watch a scripted television show and find the message for myself, because there's a message everywhere, and there are things that get into our head and our subconscious and all this other stuff, and that becomes how we react. So for example, I walked around here. I drove around, because I like to say I'm bending through YouTube. I rode around here for years watching things that I thought, I wish a mofo would. I wish somebody would. So when that's already embedded in you, anything in that'll take you there. But even when I would see it, I already in my mind said, no, no, no. What I would do is this, because I wouldn't. But in the human of us, we almost, setting ourselves to give the reaction we don't want. We don't want the opposite of what we said. Sorry, texting. Sorry, guys. One thing I learned about the phone is it doesn't ring or go off until you're like on the phone in a call, or when you're like, oh, I'm so booked and busy now. Here come the calls and stuff. But so like I said, last week just really made me just reevaluate. One thing about loss for me, when we lose anyone who is a part of, or just even if it's just someone close to us loses someone, it reminds me of how one, time waits for no one. It's not a promise. And two, it also shows me like what I need to get done and what I need to get on top of. And so for me, this week has just been like revelations, you know. Oh, wow. Oh, you have grandbabies too. Oh, that is beautiful, Susan. That is great. I mean, the one thing I realized when I became a grandma is it's it's almost like this second chance of parenting with that handbook they talk about. But at the same time, it's just this blessing to be, to think that what I made or what I raised or what I brought into this world brought back something that is a part of me too. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't believe blood makes you any closer anymore, family. And Susan, when you say you adopted them, you adopted your two of your children because they're yours. I mean, and if you did adopt them, I salute you. I salute you. One day I had an argument so big with someone about adopted parents and foster parents, and step parents don't understand being a parent, but they do. They do. They do. What you may be able to say to them, they wouldn't know what it was like to give birth to that child. But outside of that, I really salute you because I know that sometimes even just in parenting, it's so hard. And anyone whose heart is there and it's full and it's the same and it's that same love of a mother, love of a father. It's just that is so beautiful to me. That is so beautiful to me because that's one less child who will have to say, I don't know what that is. So I really applaud and I salute Absolutely. And people say, well, there's bad foster parents out here and there's bad adopted parents. There are. And there are bad parents who gave birth to their children. And so I never compare the bad when I'm speaking on the good, because there's no need to, because it's not what I'm talking about. So if that's what you were saying, oh my goodness, that just gave you more stars in the sky of Susan for me. Like, it just really did. I really applaud that. Just like people who, even with animals, when they go and rescue animals. One of my dogs was a rescue, and it's a big thing. I really salute that. My hat is off. Cheers to you. I really, oh my goodness, that just changed my whole conversation. But it's still on the same thing of parenting. And yeah, it's gang violence. It does. It definitely, it has to stop. It has to stop. It but to get to gang violence and everything else, you have to get to the other sources. It's not the root. The gang violence isn't the root. So if I stop it, I don't stop the weed from growing. I might just cut off the top. But I gotta get to the root of what leads to everything, and it's a tough thing. So right now, when something's so big, my mom always says you can only eat an elephant one bite at a time. You can't sit down and eat the whole elephant. So when something is so big, I look at it as if I can only take it one step at a time. So I was a person who, hey Dana, how you doing, sis? I was a person who, when I wrote a poem when one of I call him my cousin brother, when he was shot a few years back. I wrote a poem. And in the poem, I realized that one of the things was we have to celebrate a day without violence. No one talks about that. If we have 9 days of violence in my city, that's all we talk about. It's on all these main papers. Everyone's talking about it. But see, we have to celebrate the days we don't. If I have 100-degree day in my city and there was no gun violence, we're winning. We're winning. We're winning. Whether you want to see that or not. So I had to start seeing it like that. So then I'm taking this elephant one bite at a time, and that's what I really had to start doing. And, like I said, that's that's a thing. And I really will tackle things of that nature, and my thoughts on that and everything else. But it still is such a fragile conversation. It's because one of the things with gun violence these days is that the people been saying that it's literally it's the drug abuse, it's the hopelessness, it's the anger, it is the trying to find a space and a place, in a place that you fit in. You're part of the puzzle, but you don't feel like it. You feel like it's I don't know. I don't know how to explain it, just in like a way to explain it. But I know that I understand it. I don't justify it. I don't want it. But I do understand how it becomes, how it takes over. Let's see what you got to say. Oh, Susan. I tell people, in my hardest days, you never could break down. You never could be sad. You never could feel, because it was a sign of weakness. But in my heart, those kind of good things give me hope to this world. Because there was a point in time when I was going to school and law was what I was chasing. And sometimes when you read back in how laws began, and to think that animals had right before children, to think of, when we think of the movie Gangs of New York, and there was really a time when if you had more than this amount of children or whatever, people were putting children to the streets. And to think that today, in 2022, there are so many children with no homes. So I applaud a parent who can't, but doesn't force a child to be in a place they're not wanted. And I salute the people who, I don't say come pick up the unwanted child, but they come find the part of their heart that was meant for them. I believe everybody has a meeting for each other. So I believe that when you adopt a child and they become yours, that you all were meant for each other. And thank God for the parents that made them for you. So they're yours. They're yours. No doubt about it. One thing about me, you'll never hear me saying step. So like even sometimes it'll be confusing because I'll say my father's passed away. And then I'll say my father or my dad because my stepfather's not my step. Yeah, he stepped in and he stepped up. That's the only step he did. But everything about him is my dad. He's my dad. He's my father. For real. I am his spoiled little baby. And that, so for that, I'm blessed. And so I really love those things. And I tell people, I never knew any one of my grandparents. But I knew my grandparents because my great auntie and her husband, my great uncle, they were everything. Anyone tells me the best stories about their grandparents, they were that. If they tell me the bad, they were that. They were great. And they loved me so undifferent that even when my grandmother would explain that my real grandmother was her sister and she had passed away, but she would love me. And whether that was true or not, I still was like, But I'm thankful. I'm blessed. And so I believe that kind of love it's just so beautiful, Susan. That is beautiful. Those children are blessed and you are blessed. I mean, those are yours. Yeah, that just really touched me. That made me so happy, Susan. Hey, Dana, say that again. I know. Hey, Renrock, bruh. How you doing, King? What up, Sparkle? Yes. And that's the hard part. Like my niecey Pooh, she actually has two. One is adopted and one is a foster child, and they're teenagers. And I remember when she was getting them, I said, "Girl, teenagers, teenagers. It's hard to have teenagers that been with you since, but teenagers." But the problem is, so many people say that those are the lost part in the in the foster system in that system. So many people are just aged out in that system, and it's sad. And they always have these abandonment issues, and so they come into the world, and these are some of the adults that you're interacting with because they don't have a place, and they always felt unwanted. So then they act like they don't want anything or need anything from anyone, but really what they want is love. Who don't want love? You find me the person don't want love, and I'm gonna tell you they lying. I'm gonna tell you they lying. That the reason that they've decided they gonna say they don't or act as if they don't is because they haven't had it. So they try to make it without it. It's like when I was young and I was so into things. I used to tell guys, like, honestly, don't give me flowers. I'm not that flower chick. Don't flower me up. Don't this, don't that. And I would always say these type of things, right? Because to me, that was like, that way you're never let down. That way you don't worry about that stuff. Or if the guy's not like this, you didn't care. But deep inside, I am like a romantic. I do. I believe in love more than most do. But I've hardened it on the outside so much that I don't want to be hurt ever again. But in that, I'm not letting love in. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I lose. I don't win if I don't let love in. You know what I mean? You can't win in hate. Like I've never won in hate. I've made it through. I've got around, but love won every time for me. Every time, even when I wasn't the one giving out love, it was love that won. I remember being in school. These teachers were crappy. Oh my God, they were like the worst examples of educators. And Anyway, there was this one teacher we had, Miss Koff, and she was this lady. They always make fun of her because she had these veins in her leg that stuck out, the varicose veins. And they would always talk about her, and she had big calves. And one day we were in a room and they were just talking about it, and I could tell it bothered her. And I just told everybody, like, man, why y'all shut up? Like, why do y'all care about her legs? Like, why are you staring at her legs? And I just, did all this. And she had like this look like everyone says you're trash and you're bad and you're this. And she saw a heart in me. But then later she showed me tough love and I was doing something, and she like checked me. She checked me in this safe space though. And I thought, oh, Miss Koff cares about me? None of these people care. You know what I mean? Like, and I was rough. Like, I was so in it. They could come with, I would have a religious person, like, whoa, I'm gonna get away from her because the devil got to live. I was just so dark and young and dark. Young and dark is worse than being old and dark, and hold on 1 second, guys. Let me text my son. So, but that showed me like something different, because I had this soul soup that these teachers were so dark. I had got put in this program because, like I told you all, I was dyslexic. I had, learning curves. And then I had behavior issues. And so with those two components, I was put in this program that was supposed to help. And when I first got into the program, they literally did your work for you. I would come into class like high and go to sleep. If somebody called me and said, hey, we're going to go in the bathroom and drink, I just step out the class, have a drink, and go back and go to sleep. I didn't care. I didn't think about prom and graduation or none of that stuff, because it didn't mean anything to me. Because when you're hopeless, there's no way I'm looking for the good things. You're just looking in the dark for the dark in everything you see. So when somebody died, when something happened, they say, oh, of course it's going to happen because nothing's good. I used to say all the time, everything I touch turns to mud. But in the reality, everything I touched didn't turn to mud, because I was never mud. I may have been a diamond in the dirt, but I was never mud. I may have been a rose in the crack, but I was never mud. And so I didn't believe in love. And if people tried to give me love, I pushed them back. If my mama was trying to give me, I pushed her back. Oh, get off this mushy. I know I don't want to hang out with you. And see, later you were blaming her for what you were doing, but it was me. And so in growing up, I had to learn that, but love got me through. Love won. And my biggest loss was when I gave birth to children. When I had my children, I didn't, some people say, and I mean, I didn't want children. Because I didn't want to take a chance of them ever being hurt. I didn't want to take a chance of, any of that. I just didn't want that at all. And that's why I have never been married. My grandparents, because like I said, once I explain something to you, I'm not going to say great auntie every time. My grandparents, my grandfather and grandmother were married since my grandma was 14, 15 years old. And I can't say it was all perfect, but they were married until the day my grandfather died. And I've thought about how sad she was. And so for me as a kid, I said, I never want to even have to be that sad. But then I was, 19, and a guy I was dating, 18, a guy I was dating was murdered. And I learned you don't have to be married to lose someone. But it made me even more scared, And then one day I just said, you know what, if you don't, you're going to keep going the wrong way, because you're not looking for love. You're just looking for a moment. You're looking for, or you're looking for nothing. So it's best when people give me nothing. And then I had to set aside with the issues of my father and realize that I was also looking for him. So you keep getting up with people who have the same things he has. Whether it's commitment issues or being responsible. So you keep attracting to those type of things. And love got me through. Because once I see in love, there's always a loss if I lose love. So love got me through. So when I tell you all, I fight for love to bring it out, to show it, to give it, to be it. That's a fact. It's just the facts of life. You know what I mean? It just really is. For me, it is. It's the only fact I can have. See what y'all saying. Hey, Ren Rock. I think you're just speaking back to me from when I spoke to you. They do. They blossom. And when you're a teenager, the people you think are against you are really the people that are for you. And sometimes as a teenager, what you think is for you is so against you. It's not, and not saying all of it, but some of it is just like, wait a minute, wait. So that's your buddy, but they left you here. They stranded you. That's not your buddy. But then you sound like the enemy because you're telling the kids. So what I learned in life is, like, if there were points, and like if I think of some regrets, like in parenting for myself, one of my biggest regrets was saying things to my children like, that's not your friend. They don't like you because how they perceiving that is something's wrong with them. And what they're not understanding is that person may be using them. That person doesn't know how to love their self yet, let alone someone else. So those are one of those regrets. Like I said, I wish that was my only regret as a parent. Like I wish, but that'd be unrealistic. Because once again, there's no handbook. I was pregnant with my first child at 16 years old. I gave birth to him. I was 17 years old. I didn't know up from down. There were so many pains and things that had happened to me with no resolve that I was still in those. And though I loved them and everything else, I had so much growing to do. I tell people, if you checked on me 5 years ago, you wouldn't even get this person. Because, see, the thing was I was riding the fence. So some days I was in the dark. Some days I was in the light. I was in the love. So you wouldn't have even got that then from me. Hey, Lucinda says, I didn't see you come on in. Thanks. You're always showing love. Thanks for the support, everybody. Thank you. Thank you so much. Just in here Sunday chatting, talking about love and, things we love and how love wins. And how, even when I work with children, I've worked with all kinds from schools to summer camps, programs, daycares. I've nannied. I've worked in shelters. I started a youth group within my shelter for the kids so they could have a relief and a break and just some time to be a kid. If there's anything I could tell anyone with young kids, please let them enjoy being a kid. Because it's the one thing you never get back. Because see, once you're grown, you get just older. But that childhood, I'm never going to get back. And some of us got to find it as adults because we never got it as a kid. And some of us were so busy trying to grow up so fast that we didn't appreciate it as a kid. So I try my best to, one, give them that and give them love. But you'll be surprised how many kids you go to hug them, they don't even know how to hug somebody. Because their trust, their guards are up. There's all these things going on, so. But love wins. Love wins. I had to grow. And that's all of us. That's why I'm not the type to hold you to your flaw. You know what I'm saying? I could be better. We could have problems. I could not mess with no more. I hold nobody to it. I don't. Because one of the worst things I think anybody could do to somebody is hold you to this. This is exactly where I'm going to put you here and I'm going to stop. And I'm going to leave you right there. I never can do that. And so I had to grow. And in growing, I had to see me, learn to love me, learn to put the guards down. Sometimes we need a little vulnerability. That's how you let love in. Because see, when them guards up, you run from love because it's scary. It's scary to feel when you're trying not to. It's easier to be the one on top of the, check 'em list. It's easy to do that. You don't. I don't know anybody who, when you're in a dark place, your conscience is just running like crazy on how I'm just being too dark. Let me just be this dark. I don't want to be this dark or this dark. I just want to be this dark. Hey, nah, you dark. It's just dark. Cut the lights off. It's dark. But when there's love inside of you, you know what I mean? When you're willing to let it in, when you have a little vulnerability so it could come into you, because you can't just give love, and not get it back. It goes both ways, So I had to learn, I had to love me so that I didn't question when people did. This for the ladies. You ever, like, a guy's being nice and you say, like, why is he being so nice? Something got to be wrong with him. It got to be that's the part of you that's afraid. That's afraid that maybe I don't deserve this. Like, why would he, I had a whole kid, because I had that phase too. Like, I had a whole kid with a guy, and I had 2 kids with a guy, and he didn't even love me like that. Why he don't even know me? So then now you're trying to give somebody all of you to see if they'll run. Or maybe I'm the only one who's ever done that. But I know when I'm in those places, I couldn't let it in. And then it'd be times I'd put the wall down and let it in, and then it backfires. Now it's a bigger wall. And really, I done built a wall in front of a wall, in front of a wall, in front of a wall. So now I have to take this down brick by brick. Like the Berlin Wall. I just got to come, and the people need to come help me. And we, like the women of Brewster Place, we just grabbing bricks and taking them off. And that's where I'm at now. So right now, there's a wall still there. But there's a space big enough for me to get on through. So you ain't got to take this one all the way down. I could climb on through. And so sometimes what you'll get, because like I said, I'm only human. I'm born to make mistakes, But I don't live off of that to give myself an excuse to make mistakes. Just like when I was young, I say, oh, well, we don't know if we're going to be here tomorrow, so I'm going to live it up today. And something, then you wake up and it's the next day. And you done jagged all your money or whatever you did for the day. And you still got tomorrow. And the next day. And the next day. So, I've just learned to live. Somebody told me, one of my buddies told me, I've been living, but it's time to be alive. She told me that right before I moved down here. And it rang in my soul. And so when I first got out here, still I was hella depressed. Angry that no matter what I try to do, sometimes it go wrong and it looked like I still messed up. And I was worried about who was going to think I messed up. And I didn't. And it put you in that fight or flight to defend, to protect myself, my word, my name, my this, my honor. I don't give a dang on what you call me. It's what I answer to. You know what I mean? And I done been in such places that, trust me, I've been called everything but a child of God. I mean, sometimes it's like, did they make that word up? Is that a real? Let me go look that up. Because I don't even know if that's a real word. I don't even know what they saying about me. They grabbing the sophisticated words to diss a person. But that don't move me. It really don't. Only time, what hurts me or what can't hurt me is fighting the same old fight. You know what I mean? But I've learned, like, that's a battle I lost, but a war I won. And I've explained that before in my lives. Like, forget winning the battle. I need to win the war. Because some battles go on for 50, 60 years. And at the end, the same thing you was battling for 50, 60 years is still going on. So nobody won. You just battled. I want to win the war. I want to win the war. Hey, Vicky. Hey, sis. How you doing today? Happy Sunday. But yeah, so like I said, and that's the thing, like, you never know what somebody's going through. You never know. So sometimes just coming in with your negativity, if they're already in a bad place, it's just going to bring that energy back out them. But it's real hard to be in a room and everybody in there, la 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 la, happy, happy, laugh, laugh, joy, joy, great spirits, great energy, and you come in with negativity and it don't move the room, and then people move around and go find somebody to go give it to. You know what I mean? So that's what I've learned. You got to surround yourself with the light, because it's easy to cut the light out, get in the dark. But I'm just trying to be a part of the light, be in the light, like even when I was doing these videos for Black History Month, there's a part of me wanting to give these long, this is everything you need to know, everything you need to know. And I said, no. What I want is, if I'm speaking about a musician, I hope it brings that song you like by them. Or if you didn't hear them, I hope you go and listen to them or look them up. If I'm speaking of somebody and you didn't know, I hope it makes you go look into them. Because each one of these people are lights inside of me. And some of them, if we just told what the gossip was or what the what was, it's all going to sound bad. And make them sound bad and negative and this and that. But when I can honestly say like the good of them, I'm not thinking about the bad. So like even like when I spoke on Richard Pryor, some seem shorter because some, just to go to one part, you feel like you have to bring up this other part. But those parts aren't necessary. They're actually things that help me to understand the greatest things that I liked about him. Oh, sorry guys, I told you this eye. And so that's the one thing, is when it stresses like this, it kind of crosses. And there's nothing worse, unless you have a naturally crossed eye. It's nothing worse than when you feel like your eye is just sitting in the corner. Ugh. And it probably is not even doing that physically, because I can't look at it at the moment when it's doing that. But that's how it feels. It feels like it's shifting. Ugh. And when I think of things like with learning experiences, not losing because I still have it and it never was lost to be found. But with my eye going like it did and doing what it does like right now, it's taught me to listen more. And that's why even when it comes to really negative things, I don't even bother listening to them, because I'm going to hear every word. And even when that person tries to retract or anything else, I'm going to think, no, I heard every word, because I listened. I listened to what you said. And so I'm thankful for that part. But yeah, like I said, I have a sty on this side right in the corner. You probably see the bump. And so because it's weakening my good eye, it's making the last week, because like I said, last 2 weeks, because this eye had it last 2 weeks ago. It was on this eye and that, but it was kind of under, so you couldn't really see it. I could feel it. Like if I touched outside, I could feel it on my eye. But with that eye being like that, it's making my other eye weaker. So I apologize. But I had to come on and see y'all and run my mouth and see how y'all were doing on this week. And then just show you how I took all the bad of my week. Because see, when I think of what was bad in my week, like I said, losing a 21-year-old young man I've watched grow up was bad. My auntie completely losing her eyesight was a bad thing to me. And she's still in great spirits. But it was a bad thing because I just understand that that's a part of how we survive. And those are bad things, because those are things I can't change. If I get into it with somebody, I can change how I move. If I lose some money, I can change how I budget. If I, those type of things, they can only make me temporarily upset. Like for a second, and then I'm like over it. My attention span won't allow me to stay too deep in it. But those other things that we can't change, and then no matter how I wake up, I can't fix it. Those are the things that make me really reflect. Really, really, really reflect. So I've been in a lot of reflection this week. A lot. Let me see what y'all in here saying, because my said they want to act okay. They want to act a little okay. Yes. 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 I've learned. Hmm. Yeah, the useless killing. You can't get numb to it. I told my son, the first person I ever lost in my life to gun violence, I was 11 years old. And like I said, I'd love to tell y'all he went out and was gang banging. I'd love to tell y'all it was, that. It wasn't. It was he went to go see his neighbor's father's gun. His neighbor's son, his neighbor's son was his friend, and he was on his way to high school. He was 14, and we were on a bowling league together. And he went to see the gun, and he was on the phone three-way, and then that's when people would three-way, and then you three-way, and it'd be 80 y'all on the phone. And you don't think like that. I didn't. I didn't think it was the last time, or the last. I didn't. But when they were seeing the gun, it went off, and it went from that to people being killed because they may have been gang banging or a part of something or took something or whatever it may have been. In these days, in my 40s, it's your peers' children. So I told my son, you never get numb. It never gets easier. Matter of fact, it's harder 30 years later. It's harder, But like I said, I'm still gonna fight the real fight for that. And I'll never take my foot out of it until they put my foot in the grave. I just won't. I won't. And I might not move like you move to do it, but trust me, I'm in it. Like, I'm definitely gonna be in it. Always. Always. I'm gonna be in the crevices and the places some won't even go. But I'm gonna be in it. For something better. For something better. And I have to look at it like education at this time. If I can reach one, that's the start. That's the biggest start. But yeah, so that love children give you, yeah, you truly it's different. But in my spirituality, I've learned that the thing that gave me that agape love is God. This higher being that live in all of us. So no matter what name we call him by, I'm not speaking on no churches. I'm just speaking in my spirit. He live in us. He guiding us. And like I told my son, his days, I didn't get how I got through. And I would always say that, man, I don't know how I got through, but I made it. I realized he just threw me on his shoulder and carried me. Me, who I said was worthless, me, who I feel is this and that, he carried me. So that's how I look at things. Yeah, y'all, I'm telling you. And then the new episode of Euphoria come on tonight. So I'm watching that. Wow, something else I wanted to talk to y'all about. It's something funny. Dang, I can't remember. It was something funny. Oh, it says anybody. This is not a new movie. Anybody seen Horrible Bosses? I literally just watched 1 and 2. I actually watched 2 first, and then watched 1. This. Now I know everybody's sense of humors are different, but mine can be dark. But that comes from learning to laugh in pain. So it can be dark. Now I'm not talking. Let's take it deep to nothing. Too dark, but it's a little different. But it's not even dark humor. But it's a lot of that. I call it frat boy humor. That I don't even know if it's frat boy. I don't know what to call it. Just but it's hilarious. It's hilarious. Oh, watch that. It's so hilarious. Thank you. I would love. That's what I truly. I told y'all I got a tattoo. You know, when it's times when I got a tank top, I'll turn around, I'll show it to you, I'll take a picture. But I have had it for years. Someone gave it to me on a keychain, and they didn't even know my life story, but they gave me it on a keychain, and they said you were given this life because you're strong enough to live it, and that would start the road to a change for me. And stop thinking that I was given this life to say that my life ain't nothing and it was meant to be bad and it was meant to be messed up and it was meant to be this. No, I was given this life because I am strong enough to live it. I was given this life because it was these parts that I, that I made it through would help me for the long run and what my purpose is. So that I understand. That's why I tell people I wouldn't change none of my life for no reason. The good, the bad, the ugly. Do I want to go through any of it again? No do-overs, no do-overs, but I'm thankful. And that's how I feel like all of us there's a purpose in that life to give you something. Like I said, somewhere there's somebody who grew up in a home full of racism, and that's not who they are. And that's not what they do. When I went to Dallas, like I told you, we did an interview. We did a whole little meet and greet with these people, and it was on a plantation. But this plantation in Dallas, and you can look it up, this plantation in Dallas was once housing more of my ancestors than you could believe. But the granddaughter of that would end up starting a foundation where she gave back to refugees and underprivileged people and families and everything else. Who would figure? Go figure. And on that same plantation that once we were slaves would be a same place where we would walk through as an equal, where I would stand in a place where people came to see me speak. So you never know. You never know. Because sometimes it had to get dark so you can even appreciate the light. You know what I mean? How can you appreciate something if you never knew what it was like to not have it? And some appreciate it just because they saw others. But yeah. Oh, it's hilarious. Yeah, I hadn't seen it either. And like I said, so sometimes I go on HBO Max and just like, eeny, meeny, miny, mo. And I'm a good person. I always watch a trailer for something. Because if the trailer don't hold my attention, I know the show's not going to hold my attention at all, the movie, the show. Or if I start something and it's so dragging on slow, I just cut it off. But if something can keep me from the beginning and just make me just stay in it, I'm like, oh, I'm with it. I'm with it. I'm with it. So yeah, great movie. Just funny, actually. That's like the best part of it to me is it's funny. So, I don't know. I just like a good funny movie. Like if y'all name what. Hey guys, what if you ain't here right now? What is a movie that you watch to laugh right now? Because I want to see. Now I've watched a lot of movies, so some of them I've probably seen, but I want to see if somebody names something that gives me something to watch tonight. So, like, what's your favorite funny movie? I don't care when it came out. What's your favorite funny movie? I'm looking for something to watch funny. Yeah, like of course now when I did Robert Townsend, I love him. I love him. Oh my goodness, I've loved Robert Townsend since I was a kid. I had to get my Hollywood Shuffle on, and I had to get my Jackie's back. Oh my God, Jackie's back, hilarious, hilarious. It's a movie that's so funny. A lot of people don't even know that Robert Townsend made it or even heard of it. Hilarious, hilarious. I love Jackie's back. And so many celebrities have cameos in that movie. Like Batman, like lots of celebrities are cameos in that movie. I'm sorry, guys, if you hear that. Nino is having the best bath he could ever have. So if you hear all that, that's him. That's him. Just enjoying. Clean yourself, Nino. Clean all of the filth. He went and got shots yesterday, and he was so good. I expected so much terrorizing from him and all this other stuff, but he was so freaking good. I was so proud of him. He got such a good treat. Now, what's bad is the other day he had salmon, so I was like, oh, that was your big treat. So today it'll just be a treat. It'll be a treat. But I do feed my dog salmon, steak. Those are things I will put up in their food. Oh, really? Oh man, I'm telling you, I don't know. Sometimes I've just learned for ways for myself to deal with different anxieties. And I've learned that idle time is truly, when they would say that when I was young, I gotta get like the devil's playground. It's the playground of pain. It's the playground of darkness. So even in idle time, you gotta do something. So like well, for me, if the mind is too idle, I'm gonna play the game. I might watch a movie. And see, the thing is, I have lots of time on my hands because, like I said, I can't work. And so I have a lot of time. And so it was periods, but like I said, that time turned to depression because now you think about everything. You're in these dark spots, and then I had this rule, like when I'm in a not good space, I try not to watch the things I love because I don't want to taint them. And then like Golden Girls, that's like one of my go-to happy places. But we just lost Betty White, honey. We just lost my final sister. And since then it makes it hard when they first passed. Like Three's Company, I loved. When Jack died. It took me years like to go back to watching old episodes of Three's Company and being okay with it. When Aaliyah passed, it took me a while to listen to her music and be okay with it. Some people turned her music on immediately. Gerald Levert, for me, it's just like, oh no, damn. That's me. That's how I feel. But so sometimes, but now I'm like, no, you go to your happy places when you're in a dark spot. You don't go to the dark. Turn the lights on. You know what, Susan? I hate to say this, but the one thing about a DVR or even watching stuff on YouTube, because it got to a point where I stopped watching it on my TV to watch it on YouTube so I could push the skip ad button when a commercial came on, just so I didn't have to watch commercial. I like have no attention spans for commercials. So if I don't have a DVR or something, I'm watching regular TV, a commercial come on, I change the channel. And then what happens is you end up watching something else. And, oh shoot, I forgot I was watching. So I'm like, But yeah, I do not like commercials. And I understand that commercials help us buy stuff and all this and blah, blah, blah. But half the time I watch a commercial, I'm like, milk never looked like that in my cereal. I done been at that restaurant. That burger never looked like that when I ordered it. So I'm literally watching commercials like lies. Now I don't want to go because he's lying. Lies. So I'm like, oh, you too deep in these commercials. But I do not like commercials. Like the only reason like I'll watch ads when I support and not all the way through, not them ads, them ads, some of them ads come on in the middle of you watching one of these things. It's like an hour long. You're like, wait a minute, I went to sleep and woke up and this ad's still on. But usually I give it a few seconds so you can get at least that support. Yeah, there's where mine can give you some revenue supporting you. Because I tell people when it comes to having like money where I could give out or help and stuff like that, I wish I did, but I'm broke in that area. I really am. I'm financially strapped. Oh, the Golden Girls, how could you not? Oh, the Ropers, how could you not? The Jeffersons, oh, another classic. The Jeffersons, like when we were talking the other day, and Susan, you brought up when I did Red Fox. Oh my goodness, like I literally when DVDs, like my sister still has all. She doesn't even play DVDs anymore, but she still has all her DVDs. I like got rid of mine, but I literally had. If there was a season, I have all your seasons. Yeah, so I had the first and second season of Sanford and Son. I had the first and second season of Sanford and Son. I had because all of those weren't on DVDs when I had them. But I had just anything I watched, I just would keep. I had them all. I had all the Godfathers, every name it just. And I had a section like this is mob, this is horror, this is documentary, that's the OCD. But yeah, oh goodness, good shows. There's some good shows right now, but they come so far and few between each other. It's like even when you start liking something, like I loved 90 Day Fiance for years. I really did. And then it got tainted on to me in many more ways than one. And so now sometimes I literally have to binge watch. Like I'll be like, oh my God, I'm like 3 episodes behind. Let me watch all three. You know what I mean? Because I'm not caught up. Because you love a show. You right there when it come on. You are right there. Because once again, when I support, I understand that when it comes to having a television show, that it's best that I come in on the beginning of that show. And I'm telling this for everybody. If you support a show and you want to support that, whoever produced it, whatever, when the show comes on, you want to watch it. And then when that first commercial break comes, you want to stay till that commercial break is over. And if you DVR it, please watch it within the first 24 hours so that those can go into their ratings, because that's important too. That's very important. Just like I used to get mad, like, why the heck did they just play that song on the radio 4 times in 1 hour? But hey, those are the spins. That's what the people want. Oh yeah, that's why I had to have that picture on it. It's the big one. He reminded me so much of my granddad. And like there's some pictures I can look at him and he reminded me of my granddad. So Archie Bunker reminded me a lot of my granddad. He had that. He kind of had that like Fred Sanford, George Jefferson, Archie Bunker kind of way. And when I say that, it was like sometimes they talk and you think they just hated the whole world, but they really were this loving, caring person. But there was this, I don't know, a little pressure. I don't know, but they were great people. That's all I can say. And they remind me so much of him. My grandfather was born 1913 in Louisiana. So, I mean, you can only imagine who he was. Like, and I'm not going to get too deep in his story right this second, but one day it'll be the story I tell. But he comes from some real history, you know, some real history. And that's why I tell the youth, you better start listening to these older people and your elders, because they're going to be telling you stories that one day you're going to be like, wait a minute, I had a bird's eye view on that story, and my grandparents were that. They could tell you things that sometimes when you read in a history book, I heard it a little different because I heard it from somebody there, not the accounts of other people who may have told the story to another person. It's just like sometimes I watch YouTube and I could have watched the live of somebody and seen them say something, saw exactly what happened. But then when I hear it being said, I'm like, it's all these pieces missing. It kind of makes it a different story. I don't know, guys. I just, like I said, I literally just stopped and like, let me say hey to my peeps. See how you guys are doing. Give some love, receive some love, give some love. That's really what I came on to do. But I'm actually right now, I'm about to run to the ATM. Nephew about to pull up in a few. I'm gonna run to the ATM so he can get him and his son home. And I will get back at you guys tomorrow. Oh, and look, I saw I had did my little thing. I had got this little hair, and I should have got it in platinum. I like everyone says it's so weird seeing you with black hair because guys, I dye my hair. I've always been a dyer, and I'm talking about my real hair. So I'm gonna always keep these colors. But I really like this hair, and I like that. So each strand, look at this. It's the passion twist, and then it has this, so it makes it look like a layer style. I just love it. I love it. It gives me body. But yeah, guys, like I said, I just stopped on to give some love, see how your Sunday was, run my mouth, and I thank you. I thank you. I thank you guys for coming in. I thank you, Susan, for coming in. It was just me and you in here running out. Miss out. But I thank you guys for coming in. I feel the energy and it feels good. I thank you. And I hope somewhere my energy gave you a little energy. So, because I thank you, because I definitely feel the energy and it feels really good. So, right now, I'm going to end this with a MIC. See you real soon. KEY. Why? Because we love you. MOUSC. Mickey Mouse, the one and only. Oh, shucks. Man, I wanted to be one of those kids so bad. I didn't care who Justin was, and Brittany, I loved him though. But I wanted to be one of them kids so bad. Oh God, Mickey, you're so fine. You're so fine. Yeah, blah blah man. Who don't love Mickey Mouse? Nee, what's wrong? My little nephew is over here, so you know what that means when the babies are in the building. Even though Dino's not that dog, he is a dog, so he's in his kennel. So right now, he giving me the drum. How rude! He says it's getting late. We should be chilling watching a movie together. So spoiled. So I'm gonna go on and take him out before I go. And then we come back, he can stay out. But yeah. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. I love you guys. I haven't said this in a while because to tell you the truth, and I probably am not gonna say it now. Because when I'm on my lives, I am just living with you all for the moment. Talking with you all. I wish it was a back and forth, and I try to catch the comments so I can answer them on time. If you're asking a question or saying something, respond. But it's just a moment of friend. I'm not on here sponsoring nothing, just on here talking. So I love you guys. Thank you for giving me that space in this place. And thank you for listening. And thank you for being good. And thank you for keeping the crown on. I tilt mine sometimes. I told y'all sometimes I got it on the knee. But I will get back at you. And my nephew just texted. So I guess Nino's going to have to go out when we come back. All right, guys. I love you. I'll talk to you later. Have a good night, for real. And put in them comments a good movie for me to watch that's funny. All right, y'all. I am out. Bye.